Happy birthday! It's a real nigga's birthday!
It's a real nigga's birthday, okay?
He is filtering his words. So
I'm trying to figure out this balance.
Nigga's birthday!
Shout out to the homie iNFY in the motherfucking building.
Shout out to my born day, man. Yeah,
yes, happy birthday.
That. Thank you.
Old head in the building.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, we only gonna get older. You know what I'm saying? There's
That's
no way
it.
to go back.
I got one coming up, so I got a big one coming up.
Yeah, the
what?
big 3-0.
Couple months, man. Couple months.
Ooh, about to join this 30 club. You know what I'm saying? It's alright. I ain't tripping off of it.
Yeah?
I ain't tripping off of it. It's alright.
You went home.
It's what you make it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Did you just went home? Is that what you were going home for, to kind of like celebrate with family or whatever it may be?
Yeah, actually more so my mom. So my mom is Leo as well. Her birthday was on the 28th. Mine's on the 1st. So I went home to pop up on her, surprise her.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? She was, you know, out of her mind, excited.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you didn't tell her?
Nah, I didn't
That's
tell
the
her.
fun shit, right?
Yeah, it was hard for me too. I came to a point like we was on the phone talking, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta do such and such." I think we were talking about like renewing driver's license, something like that. I gotta do such and such. I was like, "Yeah, man, I gotta do mine. I guess I do it when I get there." But you know, my brain wanted to say that, but you know, my mouth hadn't said it yet. So I was like, "Oh shit, let me just end this conversation."
Let's end this conversation
real quick before I give myself away. But yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, I surprised my mom last year for her birthday. Shout out to the job for the way they did that. It was a little vet back home.
Yeah.
They needed some people to work, but it was my mom's birthday weekend, so
So
I was like, "Hey, let me get that."
Yeah.
And I got to surprise her, so that was dope.
That's
like,
dope.
you know, coming from LA to Philly, and then being able to surprise her, for a little birthday dinner, that was dope.
Oh.
Yeah, that's fun. But
it's always good to get back, reset, spend some time with the fam.
For sure.
My
I
niece
always
is growing up like crazy, bro.
Mine too.
She's smarter than me. It's wild out here. These new kids is real different.
Yeah. It's a lot of personality that I'm seeing. I'm like, man, I know I didn't have this type of personality when I was younger.
I always think that, like, when I interact with kids these days, I'm like, yo, was I thinking about that at your age? Like,
that's how I feel. Like,
know how this work you going through, and you can set up my whole mobile device. Why do you know how to do this already?
That's like those the little girl that you see on like Instagram now with all the dancing videos, right?
Yeah.
Like all that personality. Like, where does that come from?
I guess access, something that we talked about
earlier.
Well,
no, because I don't know. Not to say no, like this isn't it. It is definitely more common. But like you could look at like a Beyonce, the way that she was doing it when she was growing up. The dances and things like that. Like the way that she, like seeing those old videos.
Yeah.
That was kind of crazy. So it's just, I don't know, man. I think
it's just
dope.
that we live in the age of just accessible information.
Yeah.
I really feel it's just like what they're able to get a hold of. They're like sponges, you know what I'm saying, when they're younger. So they absorb everything and just their environment, what their parents are doing, what they're able to access online. It all plays in a part of how they grow up. And so I think that's really what it is.
It's dope. That's like my favorite time is like looking on Instagram and seeing like all the different like videos that these kids got. Like that video that with the birthday thing, like that's a little boy like saying
it's
that.
It's a real nigga. Like, bro, why do you know to be that hype? Like,
exactly. And he probably shouldn't be saying the N-word, but hey, you know what I mean? It's still funny. It's all in good fun. It's not like anything negative that we see all over our stories anyway on the regular. But like, there's a lot of good stuff. That's what I watch. That's like the best part, of Instagram for me now.
Now, before we get too far into this conversation, we're doing a giveaway. Giving away a wine package.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to y'all who commented, followed,
before we
tagged.
Thank you. We appreciate all of that. We definitely appreciate, how many people came through, showed love, entered the contest. We definitely, again, just appreciate you all.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Before we get into announcing the winner, though, I gotta go forth with my favorite part.
Okay.
Of this show.
Okay.
And that is the poet. Please, poet.
Oh.
You see what you got on the table. You just gonna allow that to just sit there?
Yeah. This is it's a real one's birthday, you know. So what we had to do, we had to spice it up a little bit. You know, we had the wine for the last episode. It'll be back soon, but basically, you know, we wanna basically get this nice cognac in the building. You know, share this out to everybody. This is Douce. If you're still drinking Hennessy, I think you're a little late.
Yeah.
Right? Get onto this Douce.
Don't get me wrong. You may have recently, as of late, seen me in the club with Hennessy. You know
I have to, because sometimes they don't have it, but then I'll try to drink something else if they don't have it. But then it's like, all right, what type of cognac is it? And you know, that type of thing.
Right.
So it's.
But what I am saying is, I am making the transition over to Douce. You know what I'm saying? And why? Oh God, you gotta have some. Oh Lord, here we go. So appreciate that.
Sweet like candy.
Ooh.
And it goes down smooth.
This is way too smooth, bro. I had it with you before. At a cookout.
Okay.
Right.
Oh yeah.
At the cookout. I didn't appreciate it then. You know what I'm saying? Having it now, it's just like, damn, why is it that smooth? Why haven't we been drinking Douce?
You wanna know why?
Yeah.
It's Hova.
And what does that mean? That's why it's so smooth? That's what you're saying?
So when I say it's Hova, that means it's Jay-Z. That's the only other description I have. It's Jay-Z, or it's Jigga Man, or it's Hovey Baby.
And what does that mean? Like, what does that mean to someone like me?
He doesn't deal with bullshit, you know?
Okay.
It's Jay-Z, right? So basically anything he puts out is typically one of the best products that you're going to actually, you know, come across.
Perfection.
Right? So basically what I want to, you know, let people know is this is probably one of the best products that I've ever had.
Okay.
Just from a cognac standpoint. Yeah, I love it. So we're gonna keep drinking Douce whenever we can, whoever sells it. And if you don't sell it in your bar by now, step your fucking game up.
You need it. Yo, don't want to go too far off, but the last spot that we were at, don't get me wrong, it was a dope spot. Shout out to El Dorado.
Yeah.
But y'all ain't have shit.
They didn't have nothing. They didn't have Coronas.
Shit.
How you not have a Corona?
We don't have. Oh, we don't have that. We don't have that. We don't have that. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, like the thing is, they saw it was an R&B party, so all they stopped was Hennessy. They were like, it's gonna be all niggas in here. That was basically what it was. I think that might have been what it was.
They did have that.
But they did. They did have that. So, well, I do want to ask you though, like, what you been up to? Like, how you been? Like, how was your trip home? Like, how was that?
It was good, man. Like I said, it was, you know, refreshing. I got to reset, see the fam, see the little one. They're growing like crazy.
Yeah.
It was good. You know what I'm saying? I've been ready to get back though and get into this, you know, this show action.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Start doing what we do, honestly.
Yeah.
Like going home made me be like, all right, yeah, I need that. You need that, you know, you need to be surrounded. It's like when I go home, I'm so surrounded by love with my family.
Yep.
I don't want to just assume that everyone is. I'm so surrounded by love, and you need that. For me out here sometimes, LA is just like bully, you know what I'm saying? But
hey,
then,
I love you, man. You know what I'm saying? You the homie. Like, you feel me?
God.
Got love over here.
God.
Right?
But then it also made me be like, all right, now I need to get back. Get back into these bags. You know what I'm saying? Get back into just, you know, the creative process of the show.
For sure.
Everything that we doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And that's how, like, I feel definitely when I go home, man. I love going home. Definitely love going home. Loving seeing all my family and friends and things like that.
Right.
But when you get, like, that energy, once you get back, it's like a rebirth.
Hungry.
You know what I mean? Like, you're just hungry for a whole nother level of action.
Hungry.
Like, things start flowing, like, the ideas just start going, things like that. So, that's why I do appreciate going home, other than just being able to see my family, because I know what type of, you know, energy it brings, you know, to me in my everyday life, and you know, the things I want to do, and it allows me to just get to and achieve different things. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I guess we can
go ahead and announce that winner.
Want to announce the winner?
Yeah. So.
All right. So basically, you know what we're doing. Once again, Corner 103 Winery out of Sonoma, California, partnered with us here at the Unsolicited Culture Podcast to do a giveaway. right? So what we're going to do is the care package that we're giving away is going to be 2 bottles of wine. One of them is going to be a red selection, and another will be a white selection. We do also have some other things that will be coming with that as well. Most people won't see it until, you know, probably the winter post and we get it out there as well. We're not going to name the rest of the stuff that we're going to give out until it's actually posted and sent and the person receives it. So without further ado, we get a drum roll. Like, the winner is on Instagram. The name is at TAJEE_. At TAJEE_. And I do know this guy, so the winner is Tajay. Right, so shout out to Tajay. You won the first giveaway that we're going to do here on Unsolicited Culture. And don't worry, guys, we do have a bunch of other giveaways coming very, very soon. We keep coming up with different ideas on who to partner with and things like that. So please continue to follow us. Look out for those giveaways that we're going to be doing, things like that. Once again, shout out to Tajay.
Thank you, Tajay. Tajay's been active. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Reposting, things like that.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate the love and support. Once again, at TAJEE_. Tajay. Once again, Instagram. Hey, if you don't follow him. Hey, we want to keep sharing the love on our end as well. We know how follows work on Instagram for businesses and just our own personal everyday life. So if you're not, following Tajay, follow him. All right. Now to kind of, I guess get right to it and
that Duce hit different, bro.
It hit different. What it hit like?
Ooh, that just it's smooth. It made me smooth. You know what I'm saying? I feel like silk right now.
Yeah. Ooh, that's nice. Okay, I thought you were gonna say like Egyptian cotton, you know what I mean?
I feel like silk right now.
Like 700 count or something like that, you know what I mean?
I feel like silk. I feel like, smooth, you know what I'm saying?
That's good.
Flowy.
Yeah, it's my favorite, honestly. It's the best cognac that I've had in a while. So, yeah.
And the other thing about it is, I love that it's something, it's for us and by us. You know what I'm saying?
All day.
If you feel where I'm going.
All day.
I love those for us, bias types of businesses.
All day.
You know what I'm saying? And I definitely want to see those shine.
Yeah.
So we got to get this in more bars. We need to get this, in more of the corner stores.
For sure.
Just as well as, or as much as we go out and see Hennessy, I want to see Duce.
And there's some dope people that are pushing that too, like the Duce Palooza guys, right? They started off as Honey Palooza. They realized what this was and what culture they were actually appeasing to.
Right.
So they decided to go out and get in that for us, by us, like type of mentality. And now they're Duce Palooza and they're doing parties across the country, and they're dope ass parties. Some of the best parties you probably ever could go to, especially from where it started and the team that's behind it. Like some really dope guys over there. What's it called? There was a recent. To kind of go on that for us, by us, there was this dope thing that I just watched. So Nori just did a interview with Nas. Yeah. So Nori did an interview with Nas for Drink Champs, right? And he announced a deal. So he was already on Revolt.
Okay.
Now the Drink Champs podcast. Drink Champs podcast now is on Revolt, which is owned by Diddy.
Shout out to Diddy.
Mass Appeal.
Papa Diddy Pop.
Papa Diddy Pop. Mass Appeal, which is owned by Nas, and Tidal, which is owned by Jay-Z.
Damn.
Look at that.
So everybody eats.
Everybody eats.
I love that.
And he said he had another deal with somebody else, iHeart, right?
Okay.
But he was like, they not for us.
It's not where I'm supposed to be.
Right? It's not where he's supposed to be. And he said some real dope stuff. So if you haven't seen it, it's like, it's on the Nas and Nori episode for Drink Champs. It's around like the 107-minute mark, like an hour and 7-minute mark.
Okay.
Just go check that part out. What Noriega's talking about. It's dope. It makes sense. And he said, basically saying he'd rather get money with his own than money, elsewhere.
All right.
So it's one of the dopest conversations and little bits that I've heard in a while, and just made a lot of sense, and things that I appreciate.
Sense, right? You can't always do it, but it makes good sense. Why not even try it? Why not be open up to it? I feel like at times we run to mainstream and you know the popular selections.
Yeah.
Why don't be closed off to the idea of trying for us by us. Speaking of for us by us, in a different industry, we were having a little bit of conversation, and a question came up about strippers and strippers being entrepreneurs. Do we classify strippers as entrepreneurs? I'm gonna say, yeah, for sure, definitely. You know what I'm saying? I support the naked hustle. Here's why.
Okay.
Sex sells. Okay. You may not like it. It may not be your go-to.
Yeah.
But it does.
Yeah. Every
minute, every second, every minute, every hour.
Yeah.
Since the phrase was coined, sex sells. It does, and it's going to. You know.
Well, that's like the first industry was prostitution. Like it was one of the first big businesses that we've had here in just the States in general, right?
Right.
So I guess it's from the beginning of time.
There you go. And so all things that are involved with it, the illusion of it, whatever. You can if that's your lane, you can package it. Sold to the man with the braids in his hair. You know what I'm saying?
Strippers and entrepreneurs.
So here's my thing. There's my follow up.
What's the definition? Let's see.
Yes, it is a business. You can be an entrepreneur. You can consider yourself an entrepreneur, but in my opinion, that's just a startup, right? That's just a.
So we got a startup business for being like. So you could pop it on a pole as that's your small business.
That's your small business.
Can you get a small business credit card with that? Like say like you was like, you know what I'm saying? Like how do you put that on an application? Like what are your skills? Like let's say if they're making a resume, right? Let's create this resume.
Okay.
Right. So
I
guess they're flexible.
Customer service.
Flexible. You don't have to say what type of flexible or how flexible you are, right? But that means you're flexible. That means you can adapt because they do have to go to different environments and things like that.
Right.
So they're flexible. They're adaptable. What was the other one?
Customer service skills.
Oh, they do have customer service skills.
You have great communication skills.
Very good communication skills because I fell in love one time. One time I fell in love.
Without words.
Without words. I don't know how she did it, but that T-Pain song meant a lot to me after that moment.
I'm just saying.
All right, so let's look at the definition of entrepreneur. Entrepreneur, a person who organizes and operates a business or businesses, taking on greater than normal financial risks in order to do so. A promoter in the entertainment industry. Does it fall under that cat? I guess it.
Yeah.
Damn, I guess it does.
In the entertainment industry.
They didn't say what type of entertainment.
There you go.
Adult entertainment.
There you go. But again, in my opinion, that's just a starting point.
Okay.
That's a small little,
it's a stepping stone.
Stepping stone that you start with to segue into whatever else you want to. We've seen them, do many things.
What are the trajectories for this sort of
do many
career?
Things. You can write a book. You can become a music artist. Someone wrote a book, right?
Probably. There's probably a book out there. Oh, what's her chick name? Superhead.
Right.
Corinne Stephens.
Okay. I didn't want to.
Let me not call her Superhead, but yeah, Corinne Stephens.
Misspeak about her past, but there you go.
Okay.
So
she wrote multiple books.
Become an artist. Start your own businesses, whatever businesses they are. A lot of them are becoming, speakers and whatever.
Yeah. Wow.
You get paid to host these industry parties.
Does it seem as though this is only entrepreneurial status for like women? Because like what men are, do we get any shine in this world? Like,
so I personally have no interest in.
I don't have any interest either,
strippers.
but I may need to change my status and my what I do. If the bag is the same.
You're considering becoming a male stripper, then is that
I'm not saying that.
Is that could be a possibility?
It's a little too far. Okay? But I would just have to see what these checks look like.
Okay.
Then I'll be able to make a more informed decision.
I hear that that's a very lucrative crowd as well. I mean, if you're okay with a bunch of
oh, I know what you're talking
we'll
about.
say
let's not get there.
Yeah.
I got you.
Okay. Yeah.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, you know.
Shout out to y'all.
Right. Because they be in there, they pack the house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to y'all. You're a different type of group, you ladies.
Yeah.
You're a different type of group. Okay, I got it.
So that's where you're going to make your money.
Man, that's true.
Your brand and your butt, they're going to give you everything.
Hey, that's not a bad thing, man. Maybe I should be like, what's up?
Saying, sometimes I wonder if that's the way to go, man. You know? Just out here working too hard.
Yeah,
just working too hard.
Working too hard for too little.
Make
like,
it easy.
Just, hey, guys, follow us because we're trying to change our lives, okay? This will give us the ability to take our talents to the next level.
I have a couple of moves.
Did you just, hey! That's funny.
Nobody's taking that. It's like, that's
No,
good shit. We on it.
So I guess they do fall in, but it's just like, I don't know, man. It's crazy how I look at it, like when I just look at Instagram nowadays, because remember when thirst trapping just became a thing, right? And thirst trap, like it was a saying, right? It's not really a saying anymore or anything like that. It's really just the norm.
Right.
Now, and I'm just like wondering why it's the norm.
Yeah.
Like wondering why it's the norm at all.
Yeah. I think goes back to that phrase, man.
Yeah.
Sex sells. It's always going to. So it doesn't matter what time, what era we're in.
Mm-hmm.
If she's shaking her ass on the camera, people watching. You're gonna look.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like I saw like this. I can't remember this Instagram. The name of this Instagram chick, but it started with an N. Mm-hmm. But all she was doing was shaking her ass. I barely saw a picture of her face on any of her posts. She had like over 200, 300 posts. Mm-hmm. All just ass shaking. I'm like, first off, you shake your ass in picture 1. Why are you shaking your ass in picture 300 and thinking you're going to get a different reply?
Do we not have enough ass selections?
There's that too.
Is there never enough?
I mean, I'm not mad at it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I guess it's nice to look. Not I guess it's nice to look at, but like, damn, like, what about your heart? You know.
What about your heart?
I guess I don't care either. But no, just seriously, like, damn, like, show your face at least.
Yeah. Show
your face, or try something different.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand sex sells, but shit, like, have some dignity more so than anything.
Have some goddamn respect for yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just crazy. Like, I was just looking at it, it just weirded me out just to see it. And it is consistent on, like, multiple people's page. Yeah. But, some people try to spice it up and, instead of having just, like, the bikini pic, they'll put some pants on. Right. You know what I mean? Or, and guys, too, stop taking your fucking shirts off. Nobody give a fuck.
I think that's what it's come down to, is just like, do you have enough dignity for yourself, and what is enough? Like,
not even what's enough. I just saw this the other day. This just reminded me. I don't know how real this is, but I saw there was a model or something. She was super tattooed, white girl, whatever it may be, tattooed all over her body. It said she had her nipples removed so she could take pictures on Instagram and so they won't blur it out.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I don't know. It's
that's wild.
People disgust me. I don't know. Like,
I think that's a bit too far for, the sake of taking pictures.
If I'm going crazy, like if this isn't a real thing, somebody please just like let me know, because
nipples removed so you can.
I saw it, but I don't know how real it was or how accurate it was.
That's a lot. I also heard something. I think the era of thirst trapping, just as you mentioned, we saw it start out when it started out, how it is right now. I think it's gonna come to an end.
You think so?
I don't know.
How?
There's just so many. I was having this conversation recently with someone about vanity. So they had mentioned to me about Instagram removing likes, followers. Have you heard about this?
I have, but Instagram, if you do that, you're stupid.
What I said to this person was, that might be the end of Instagram. And then we just find the next platform that everybody's going to be vain on, because I just feel like there's way too much vanity. There's too much need for, validation for people to be like, oh, okay.
And Instagram can't leave because I don't do Twitter, I don't do Snapchat, Instagram.
Listen,
don't fuck up.
A lot of these thirst trappers, they're making a lot of money.
Yeah.
They're able to monetize that. You know, so why are you asking, why is there, ass shaking video after ass shaking video after ass shaking video? Is because if old girl's smart, she's probably monetizing all of those posts if she can.
Yeah.
If there's a situation out there. So they're making a ton of money off of that. Now just imagine if all of that shit goes away. You can't see how many people viewing it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how many people really like you out here. Because popularity plays into a part of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It might come and go. It might be the end of Instagram or the end of a thirst trap era. I don't know.
Instagram, if you take away likes, like what will you be?
You booty for that, bro. Honestly. I mean, I don't
like,
even say what will you be, because damn, now I feel vain, right?
We all are in some sense.
I mean,
if you want Instagram, you some sort of vain.
Yes, but I also enjoy just seeing what goes on out there, right?
I think
people
Twitter is for the normal man. Instagram
you don't really
is for the
get
vain
to
person.
people watch on Twitter though. Like you get to hear see a bunch of random,
That's what I'm saying.
outbursts.
I think they're less vain. Like half the people don't even have real pictures of. They got the eggs or the whatever it may be.
True.
So it's less vain on Twitter than it is.
But like my man Ye said, we only live in the highlights.
Yeah.
I only want the highlights. You know what I'm saying? I
What's
want
wrong
to
with
see
that?
y'all fighting that sicko. I want to see that.
Yeah, that's what Facebook's for.
I don't be on Facebook no more.
That's what Facebook's is for. Like, that's exactly what Facebook is for. Facebook is for all the bullshit and the ratchet shit.
So is Instagram.
You gotta be classy on Instagram.
Not at all.
They got filters on Instagram. Facebook don't got filters,
I've
do
seen
they?
some classless things on Instagram.
Oh, absolutely. This whole city boy, hot girl thing, or this thing is going crazy, and the points that are being racked up on both
You guys
sides.
are absolutely foolish
Like
out there.
Lil Duval is going crazy on Instagram.
Matter
right
of fact, shout out to Lil Duval. I don't know if you know, but he has this record right now. Ooh, I get to
City
say
boy,
this.
with City boy.
That record is like an old Tom G track. Tom G is one of the most influential artists in Tampa right now.
Okay.
Shout out to Tampa, all of my people in the 813 Central Florida, all the way to Polk County. I love y'all. It's nothing but
Tampa.
love. So for what Duval is doing right now, that whole record is so nostalgic for me. City Boy,
Did he create that little dance with it, or is that he created that, or the dude?
Yes, all of that. That's not new. That's all like that's Juke music.
Dope.
That's Juke City music right there. I'm getting excited. That's Juke music. I'm happy to see it kind of go mainstream. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Duval, what he's doing.
I saw he was doing like a video in all these different cities, and I saw it because he was doing one in Tampa while you were home.
Yeah,
like he had a little.
I saw that. I actually saw that they were out there. I was with the family, so I couldn't even make it out to Tampa. I was in Polk County with my family, but yes, man, that's like.
Dope.
That was so dope. So there you guys go. A little piece of Tampa history. Shout out to Drip City. Shout out to Tom G. All of you guys out there.
Yeah, because I didn't know that. I thought that was a song that he just created.
Nah, that's been out for a minute, bro.
That's dope.
I'm gonna show you how to City Boy with it.
That's what's up. Right. We're gonna have D do a City Boy with a demonstration.
I'm gonna show you. No, not on camera. I ain't say that.
City Boy. City Boy.
Real. So, like I said, strippers, entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I guess they
We
could
agree
do it.
with
'Cause,
that?
I mean, hey, she's shaking her ass and she got her little twerk classes going, so that's cool. I guess the strippers, like you said, they writing books, making music.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
They
they're just doing a bunch of stuff. Modeling for Fashion Nova.
It's business.
Yeah.
There you go. Sponsorships.
Ah, damn it.
It's real life business. They real life adults out here.
They adulting more than I am, goddammit. I'll tell you that.
Adulting.
I wanna
what is that word?
Actually, you know what? Just saying that, I was listening to a podcast by some homegirls that I went to college with. Shout out to Delaware State University, HBCU. Shout out to the Hornets. I want to shout out to the Not From Concentrate podcast. Okay. Some homegirls over there, they went to school with me as well, but they were actually talking about adulting and like just like basically, you know, when you're young, right? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't wait to grow up. I can't wait to be old. You know, I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do that. You know, when you turn 18 and you know you get to 18, you're like, man, it's the same as being, you know, whatever. Right. And you know, because 18 you really can't do much. Right. You can buy some cigarettes. I don't smoke, so it didn't even matter to me. Right. So it's like certain things like that. You can grow up that way, and there's always these things like, oh, I want to do this. Then you get to the next one is 21.
21, buying your first drink.
Yeah, I can't wait to drink.
Doing it now.
Right? But then you get that drink and you fucking knocked out for the next couple of days because you hurt.
Hungover.
Thought
you was doing it.
Right? So it's like crazy, like, yo, it's not all this cracked up to be. And I, you know, I appreciate the conversation they had, and I just kind of wanted to touch on it ourselves, just like basically this whole thing. What is your idea
of adulting? What is your like definition of adulting?
Being over 21. You know what I mean? There's a lot of other things that go with it, obviously, like paying bills and I guess it's just paying bills, man, because that's all it ends up seeming to be. Right? It's always a cost for something. It ends up being another cost, another just money coming out your pocket. Like, I don't know how many times I got my check and already half of it's gone just on bills.
Following the guide to staying in line, to being a part of this system that just works like clockwork. That's what it is to me. Yeah. And it can be such a negative kind of perception or fault, not negative. I wanted to say there can be a false perception out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're right. When I can remember being, you know, a minor, I can't wait. Yeah. Now I'm like, shit, put me back in the stroller. Yeah. You know, them days.
Yeah, like, let me get back to where I ain't had to worry about nothing.
It was simple. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Let me stay there.
Exactly. And it's just like, you know, I deal with different things on a day-to-day basis. Like, there's always going to be something random that pops up. Like, I'm just trying to think of, like, even like, you know, today, we shooting this podcast. Right? We got to shoot this podcast. We got to edit the video. Edit the audio. Get it out by tomorrow. Like, but then also, it's your birthday. I gotta make sure that I go out so I can celebrate your birthday in the right way at some point in time. So that, then also with it, it's freaking, we gotta promote it. So we gotta promote it to people. Hopefully they listen. And then on top of that, I gotta go to work.
The next day.
I gotta work a 9 to 5 on those types of things. So it's stuff like that. Like, and then so tomorrow I gotta work 8 to 1. Then we're supposed to be doing a day party to do a meeting for co-branding. So it's just like so much, and it's just so many responsibilities. The day is just fulfilled with a bunch of stuff that
shit ton of responsibilities, and some people, I feel like some people, you know, may be okay with that. You know, I'm just gonna do as I'm told, or you know, as I'm supposed to do. But for me, like, I think I want to be selective with my responsibilities, right? I don't care what anyone else feels like adulting should be. But we want those responsibilities, right?
Most of them.
So as it relates to this podcast,
I'm happy with everything. This isn't complaining.
This is all of, you know, the things that we have to get done to ensure that this show goes live and it reaches the masses or what have you. But those are responsibilities that we want. Some of this shit, I just don't care for.
The 8 to 1 thing that I'm talking about, I don't want that shit.
I just don't care. I don't care. And I think for me, a big thing was, you know, that we talked about is, or at least that I talk about, is just like minding my own business. I love it I love contributing time to things if they're benefiting my own business, you know, things that I'm most passionate about. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of sucks life out of me when I don't get to do that all the time, and I have to mind someone else's business. Then I'm lost in interest. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I want to be selective with my responsibilities. I think I can still be, you know, I can still do the adulting thing.
You know what you can do?
And be super selective with my responsibilities.
You know who's selective?
Who?
Strippers. Because they're entrepreneurs. We just need to change our whole lifestyle. We could do this podcast and strip, and I think we would be good. Think about the perspective we would be able to gain being strippers. Let's figure that out. Facts.
Yeah, so that's not gonna happen. No.
See, I thought I was gonna bring you over to the side.
Nah,
I thought we was gonna be.
It sounds nice. Don't get me wrong.
I thought we was gonna be in the locker room together, eating. You know what I mean? The platters, how they be on the Instagram with the platters in the back. I thought that was gonna be no.
It's never gonna happen.
No.
It's never gonna happen.
No purple lockers in the background with the big glass one.
Never going to happen.
All right.
We can be in the locker room with strippers, but we ain't gonna be working.
I feel you. All right, cool. I like that one better.
See?
Because I don't know what type of work that is.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't got stamina to be a stripper. That's ridiculous. That's like a different type of stamina that you got. Like, just imagine swinging on that pole.
Nah.
I don't think guys swing on pole like that, but.
Well.
I don't know. I've never been to a male strip club, so I don't know. But.
Well, actually, it's called a male review.
What?
Yeah. And I have some friends who've been to a couple of male reviews, and I guess it just depends on where you go, which one you get that night. You know what I'm saying? They may be they're not. Well, then, see, that's not fair. That's not fair, because you don't call. I like frequenting strip clubs.
You nasty too, then.
Sometimes, you know, it's just nice to see this talent and skill that they put in there. There's a lot of talent. Not to be disrespectful. I'm trying to respect you guys in the best way possible here. Okay? But they have a lot of talent there. So I don't want to be looked at as nasty. You don't want to be called nasty when you go in there.
I'm cool with that. I'm a different type though, so it's okay. You can call me nasty. It's cool. It's cool. But back to adulting, you know what I mean? Just
this guy, man.
Hey, you know, whatever.
How do you guys feel about adulting?
Yeah, like
here's what we open it up. Get in the comments. How do you feel about adulting? Do you feel that you have to? I think my thing is that I feel like sometimes that, you know, society wants us to live up to a certain, you know, standard, right?
Yo.
And I just be like, fuck that standard. I'm doing it my way. You know
I literally have been on that. Like, whatever this is over here. And it sucks sometimes because I always try to go the opposite way. Right? But there's been a lot of things in my life recently where I've been running into those like cliche conversations.
Right.
And to explain it to people, I've had to use terminology such as, you know, that will be relatable to people that they've heard before to make, you know, the conversation run smooth. Right? But, you know, such as like things with depression, such as things with like anxiety and things like that I deal with, right? And, you know, just realizing it. And for me, I always try to chalk it up to being, you know, just life in general. I never try to chalk it up to be like, oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I have anxiety. Oh, you know, whatever it may be, I have these things. It's just more so I always try to just, you know, say it, you know, just call it life, right? We just have to deal with it regardless. And, you know, what I'm dealing with is not different than whatever you're dealing with, and I shouldn't expect you to, you know, feel this sort of way for me and over your own, whatever it may be. So it's just, it's crazy because I think that's what adulting is, trying to basically balance, you know, your sanity. Like, I think that really is what it is, being able to balance your sanity in a lot of situations. And, you know, especially in our world, like I think being like who we are and currently where we are in our lives, whether it be with our careers or our jobs, as we say, and what we're looking to do in one world, we have to be a certain way. I attempt to completely go left of that, right? I still do that. I still try. But being there, it's just like I have to make sure that I'm making others feel comfortable when I really don't care.
Right.
Right? I really don't care how you feel.
Right.
And it's not to say that it's in a negative manner that I don't care how you feel. It's just that I am dealing with my own over here, which is way more important to me.
Right.
Right? So it's just a balancing act of making sure that people on this side at this moment are comfortable.
Right.
Right? And then over on this side, I know I can be free and do as I please, and I can do all these things, right? And this is where I want to live. This is where I want to be.
That's
so I'm living right here in this little middle part, and I'm just trying to balance it to where I can fully
be
move
over here,
to this side,
to the freedom,
working for myself and owning things,
right,
and having multiple lines of income, whatever it may be, and just all those types of things. So I think that's what adulting is to me, and it messes with my sanity a lot, just in the sense of like, how do I just tell this person to fuck off?
Right.
Without telling them to fuck off.
How do you do it? And then we go into, taking a risk, right? Where you're at that point, because I'm at that point, you know what I'm saying, where I'm trying to like balance, you know, so to speak. I'm trying to keep this balance, but I really want to say, you know what? I feel so much more free on this other side, and it can be way more lucrative for me on this other side. But then I go back to, damn, but everything else, society, what have you, is saying that you got to be over here. People gonna look at me, wow, if I go completely left, and just take a risk, whatever that risk may be, to get you all the way over, right? Yeah. Taking that risk sometimes is one of the decisions that you have to make in life.
I can't wait to take a risk. Another one, right? Yeah. Like, man, I sound like Khaled. But I can't wait to take another risk.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I feel like a big risk that I took was moving here, not knowing anybody in California, Los Angeles in general. No family, no friends really, and things like that.
Same.
So that was a big risk that I took, right? Even though, there was some sort of security there in the move, obviously, moved here with my job. But it more so was still like, you're leaving everything that you've grown up around, your comfortability, things like that. Everything is no longer there.
Yeah.
One day it's there, the next day it's not.
Right.
Right? And that was a big risk that I took, I feel. And I definitely think it's going in the right direction, because it's, LA, man, the possibilities are endless. And that's why, we're doing what we're doing, and, that's why we have so many ideas that we're creating on top of it. Right, because there's so much more that can come from it, and I can't wait till.
And I think it all of it takes a risk.
Yeah.
I mean, like everything that we've discussed that we wanted to do with the show, and beyond the show, and our own personal endeavors, it's all risky. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have a lot of people that I haven't had a lot of people, coming up in my line of work saying, "Oh yeah, this is stable." You know what I'm saying? You should do this. You're gonna retire in this industry. You're gonna have a 401k. It's all set out for you. It's the comfortable option. It's a stable option. I haven't had that. So as far as I know right now, this is, the start of something, that I'm not probably used to. That I'm gonna have to take a chance on. The start of something I have to put myself out there for. Yeah. And as anything that you're truly passionate about, right? So it's just like making yourself. Somebody told me that the more uncomfortable you are, the more you begin to grow. Yeah. So it's just putting yourself in the mind frame that this may not be the steady thing. This might not be the most comfortable thing that I've ever done, but it's something that I'm truly passionate about. I want to do, so I have to pursue it. Right? Yeah. That's where I'm going with it. So I think really what I want to say about adulting is I feel that it's more about saying fuck the standard and being comfortable enough to be in your own lane. You know what I'm saying? Having the ability to identify things that are for you, or you acknowledge that you want to live your life a certain way, and it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing, what society calls it or anything. This is the road you have paved for yourself, walking your true path, and being okay with that, being confident about that. So think that's my take on adulting. I'm gonna live the way that I want to. You know what I'm saying? As long as I know that I have certain things met in my book, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? I've never not had a roof. I've never not had, you know, certain amenities that are necessary to be able to live or function or whatever. So I'm good. You know what I'm saying? You could call it whatever. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of people get caught up on, like, looking back, a lot of people that I've graduated with, right, from high school, they have the whole kid family thing. It's not my lane. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to be condemned for that. Actually, not to cut you off.
I want it to be my lane. I want kids.
But you'll get there though. It's not that you won't have it. It's just not your time right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that you are, but in that case, you should never feel pressured to hurry up and get there. Don't rush there. You know, don't rush it. It's not your time right now. You'll get there.
Somebody else told me the same thing.
But one of my homies, shout out to him. If he watches, you know who he is. He wished me a happy birthday, and in the same breath was like, "What's up? When you gonna get into your mom bag?" My mom bag? What? Wow. Like, that's not. You know what I'm saying? So
right now, it's not on the horizon.
Nah, it's not, and I don't even give off those vibes. Don't get me wrong. I love kids to death. I consider myself a big kid. But
Auntie D.
No. But you know, that's not the bag that I'm reaching in right now, and I'm fine with that. So for those of you out there, if you're watching and you can relate and you feel any pressure to be someone or do something conform or whatever you want to call it that you're just not into right now, don't. You know what I'm saying? Stay in your lane. Wherever you want to go, you know what I'm saying? Pull up those directions and start making that route, but you don't have to rush to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's like some of the reasons, like some of the downfalls for a lot of situations that I end up in and things like that, because I do rush a lot of things and think things are going to happen in a manner that they should, and you know, that's just me, right? Obviously, there's either another person involved or certain things that are involved where, you know, they may not be on the same trajectory at that time. Not to say that they're not interested in all those things, but right at that time is not the actual moment. And that's where I get into like certain things with like trying to figure out the balance on, you know, just life and the way that we put ourselves out there and certain, you know, conversations that are being had and things like that. So, you know, it's just figuring it out and, you know, maneuvering and once again just balancing, you know, like these you know, just balancing life and you know, where you want to be and achieving things that you have, you know, aspirations for. So
overall, just be confident and stand in your truth. Shit, I don't think that there can never be enough of that, and some of those truths are ugly as fuck, but shit, stand in it. Stand in it. I think that if we get to a point where everyone's standing in their truth, then we can start to figure out what's really wrong. Motherfuckers trying to live up to certain things that don't even, you know, that's not even on their radar. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of false identities being created. That's not you, bruh. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that like that's crazy too, like when you talk about false identities, because it's just like I get into the conversation of like people like, you know, like you ever met a person that just feel like they like expect something from you, like they deserve something, like it has to happen because they are, you know, whatever, or they deem themselves to be some sort of, you know, whatever. They take this stature of whoever they may be.
That's fine.
They expect things to basically.
But why do you feel like you deserve something?
Yeah, like what, like where does that entitlement come from? Like I've never lived in that space to where I've ever expected anything from people. But I also, well, let me not say that because I don't know. It will be somebody from an outside perspective that may look at me and say you know, say something different than what I'm saying. Right? I feel like I don't live in that space, so if anybody feels that, you know, I may do that or whatever it may be, I do apologize because I don't attempt to. But, you know, what is that? Like, where is that where does that sense of, like, you know, privilege come from? Like, what is it? Like, who do you compare yourself to? Like, what work have you put in? Like, what is that? Like, where does that come from? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I'll give you an example. Like, I just talked about, like, in general, people feeling like they need to live up to certain types of standards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say a young lady meets you, and this, you said this will be the case, so I won't even use you as an example. You might be ready for kids, right?
Yeah.
But let's just say a young lady meets a young man, and she says, "Oh, you're this, right? You're this age. You know what I'm saying? You have a nice little career going. Oh, you should be ready for kids."
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Those are the kind of expectation, or I deserve to have somebody that's ready for kids. You fit the image, and I deserve that. So
yeah,
we should. It's right. That's this is the checklist, right? It should be happening.
Yeah.
And then
I feel differently.
And you're the weirdo for feeling differently, right?
Yeah.
But why do you have, like you said, why do you have that sense of entitlement? And I think what I'm saying is it's just like society, those pressures, those things that are considered the norms. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's telling you, oh, you need to have this, and this, and this, and you should feel entitled enough to go out and request that.
Yeah. And
people should be open to it because this is what we need to do at this time. You know what I'm saying?
And the thing is, like, I don't want, like, you know, this conversation to get kind of mixed up with, like, preference and, you know, standards and things like that. I don't think it falls in that realm. Do you think it falls? I don't know if it falls in that realm or not. It's very, very similar because it's just like, you know, with that scenario per se, mm-hmm. right? With that scenario, it's like, okay, well, this is what, these are the type of things that they're looking for.
Right.
Right? This is not just a preference. This is, you know, what they want to do with their life.
Right.
Right? So it's like certain things like that where I can't
But why does the other person feel like they deserve that? I deserve to have this, you know.
Because I think it's rooted in happiness, I
house
guess.
With a picket fence. I deserve to, you know, to be making X amount of money. I deserve to have this new. Why?
Yeah. I guess it's because I think people deserve. Not deserve. I think it's because I think people have all these things rooted in happiness and aspirations, right? And we all are dreamers, right? We, you know, well, not all of us, right? Some people are dreamers and things like that. So, you know, we want certain things, or we, you know, try to obtain certain things or do certain things in our life to make these things easier.
Right.
Right. But in those situations, it's like you do have to have another party that obviously, with the specific scenarios that we've given.
Right.
You have to have another party that's also willing to be a part of that.
That's there
like,
with you.
And I think where I was coming from more so than those situations, because I think in those situations, I don't know if it's really like a deserving type of thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's like, those are the type of like conversations where it's more so where are you at in your life and like what you want to do. Mm-hmm. I think I was more so talking about saying, you know, somebody come in a room, mm-hmm. right, and they sit down and, you know, just kind of paint the picture. They're sitting down, they have shades on inside or whatever it may be, and, you know, got their leg up or whatever, and they're just scanning the room and not talking to anybody with this sort of like, you know, this smirk or something like that on their face where it's just like, oh, like, who is this guy? Right. And you go over and you try to talk to them like, hey, you know, what's going on, man, whatever it may be, and they, you know, hit you with the, who are you? You know, oh, I'm, you know, so-and-so, whatever it may be, just trying to spark a conversation. And then it goes into, oh, okay, well, you know, I'm, you know, whatever it may be, and, you know, basically like you're dismissed. Like, why do you deserve privacy in this room full of, you know, just regular people or whatever it may be? You know, especially if we're here for a certain event, why do you deserve, you know, any sort of extras? You know, it's just certain things like that where I just meet people. I just feel like I'm a real person, right? And I feel like I meet people that are like really full of themselves. I don't want to speak for them and say that they're full of themselves because they may be really honest people and that just may be who they are. But you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody's met that person that's kind of just
100%.
Like, you can't even, you know, like say a word to where you'll get a, you know.
Well, maybe they deserve, like they put in, I mean, maybe they feel like they put in so much work in whatever field that I deserve privacy. I deserve for, you know, my standards to be met. When I walk into this room, if I don't want to, you know, lay eyes or associate with anyone in this room, I deserve that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they feel like they put in enough, you know, effort, work, whatever, to be able to deserve that. Yeah. Those demands.
Well, who's to say that? Like, who are you comparing yourself to? You know what I mean? Like, what do you compare? Are you comparing yourself to me?
A standard.
You know, but you don't even know me yet.
Right. 100%. I agree with you. 100%.
And that's where, like, for me, I get into it. I'm like, motherfucker, like, am I expecting too much of people to just be normal? Or is there a standard of normal?
Let's break it down. What's fucking normal? And that can go deep. I don't know if I want to go that deep on this episode, but that can go deep. Like, what the fuck is normal? Yeah. And I think that a lot of it is unknown. We try to put a label to it. Our society tries to tell us, you know, what boxes to fit into. But we're moving closer and closer to a time where you just start to actually, you hear people say, what the fuck is going on these days? Yeah. It's all just coming out. We have so much access. It's not like it was back in the days. Times are moving quicker. Like, what the fuck is normal? Yeah. You start to learn really quickly that, like I said earlier, you just have to find a balance that you're okay with, that you're comfortable with, that you're happy about. You have to know your lane, know yourself, because what's normal anymore? That person's reacting on something that they may have known, or someone that may have come before them. Or something that they may have been told, you know, that's what they're reacting on. Yeah. They feel like that's the way to go. Yeah. So they're not considering you who you are. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They don't know anything about you, but this is the standard. You know what I'm saying? I'm here, you're here right now. Why do I even have to acknowledge you, bro?
Should I argue with their standards then? Because I don't want to argue with anybody's standards.
Sometimes it's up for debate. Some things are just up for fucking debate. You know what I'm saying? And my personal opinion is, in your scenario, when you open yourself up to the public, things are just up for debate. Even your privacy, bro. Yeah. Like, you get a lot of celebs that are just like, oh,
I think that ties back to our conversation too about like private Instagram.
Yeah.
Public. So yeah.
I don't want to be bothered. Some things are just up for debate, especially when you're in the public eye.
I just feel like if you put yourself. That's touchy. Because I was going to say, I feel like if you put yourself in the public space, you should be okay with public perception.
But then you want to be treated like.
But then I saw like
a normal person.
And that's like where the other day, like I watched this video, like they were showing, it was like Nipsey, rest in peace Nipsey. Basically, there was like people that, you know, put a camera in his face. And, you know, the dude was like, I'm big on respect. He was like, but you're a man, like, you know, you're a celebrity. I'm trying to do this. He was like, first off, I'm a 60 Crip. Like, that's off rip. That's what I am first, right? And I'm big on respect. So I don't put a camera in your face. You don't put a camera in my face. And I know I wouldn't want the same thing. Like, even if you're just walking around and somebody put a camera in your face, you do this type of reaction. It's that quickly, regardless of who you are. Right? So if he was to do the same, you know, but he's a public figure in the way that he's looked at or the way that he's deemed.
And that's the celebrity standard. Yeah. Is that.
And I don't want to agree with it because I don't believe in that. I don't believe that anybody should be able to be reported.
I feel like if that's what he wanted at that time, then he should, like, his feelings should have been respected more than anything. Fuck whatever, you know, a celebrity is supposed to do. But that's the celebrity standard. I put a camera in your face, you come alive. Yeah. It doesn't matter what person.
Oh, that's nasty.
Bro. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, did you say it again?
When I put a camera in your face, you come alive.
Oh, that's crazy.
It does not
matter.
Like,
think about that. Like, that's wild.
It doesn't matter. That's what you signed up for.
Oh, that's
what
nasty.
you're out here about. That's the platform that you created. You know what
Somebody put a camera in my face, please.
It's one right now.
I know, right?
Lord willing, when we get there, you know what I'm saying? You put a camera in my face, you come alive. Yeah. Now it's just about what lane you're comfortable with and how well you handle yourself. But it's going to happen, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I could smack that shit down and
now I'm catching a case.
You know what I'm saying? Go through the cases later and be all good with that.
I'm gonna start looking at people because you know it's like a certain amount of money before you go to jail. I'm gonna look at it and be like, what kind of phone is that? Oh, you got an iPhone 4. I'm gonna smack this shit out that iPhone 4. It's only worth $200. Now I'll give you $200, bitch. And even over like $1,000, like
now here's what I respect. If Nip had to smack the fuck out of that shit, I would be like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And then we'd be mad because then he locked up or some shit. But it's just like.
But that's just who you are. That's the
man.
lane that you're in. It's about knowing the lane you're in. You can live up to the standards.
Yeah.
Or you can live in your lane. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's crazy.
You can come alive and start doing the Beyonce. Or
oh man.
No shade.
Don't throw Beyonce.
Or you can.
I'm gonna send the beehive at you.
Chill.
I'm gonna send the beehive at you. Wait till the comments come.
I'm just saying.
We'll blow up that.
I'm just saying. It was a whole fight. It was a whole fucking fight in that elevator.
Yeah.
And
she just stood there, bro.
She didn't break a sweat.
What? Is Beyonce real?
Don't do me like that. Don't do me that way, okay? Because just don't do me that way.
I'm just saying, guys.
Okay? There's a whole entire group of people out here that feel a strong way about Beyonce. And
yo, you know what's funny? I could probably type that into YouTube, and then it'll probably bring up a full video about how Beyonce is not real.
You know
yo, I hate the internet. Oh my god.
You know it. We in 2019.
Like, that's crazy. Like, that's wild just to think about. Like, you could type that in.
Some crazy shit on the internet.
Like, somebody came to me with something yesterday and was basically saying that, you know, like I said something like slick. I was like, yeah, man, you know. He was like, I was telling him like I don't go to sleep, right? I'm not a sleeper at all. Like I usually I'm up to like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, something like that.
Facts.
I'm not a sleeper.
I've gotten texts as late as 2 a.m. I feel like.
Yeah, like
this nigga be up.
I be up, like. So, like, somebody, like, I was saying something and I was like, yo, I was up till 3 a.m. He's like, why you up till 3 a.m.? I was like, I don't know, man, I was just putting in work. He was like, why you putting in work? I was like, trying to get my 10,000 hours in, you know what I mean? Like, you heard that theory, 10,000 hours. And I was like watching podcasts and just looking at little things. I like to break things down myself. Like, that's just the way I operate, and I operate better at night when there's no distraction of the rest of the world, right? 3 a.m., nobody's up. Not from the West Coast, not from the East Coast.
I don't want to say nobody because I don't want to distract a lot of people. Yeah,
I'm sorry, people that are in my circle, right? People that I operate with, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm basically just there and I'm like, you know, doing my thing and just breaking down stuff or figuring out new ways to market or whatever it may be. Just looking at stuff the way I do. And I was like, yeah, I'm just trying to put in my 10,000 hours. He's like, I saw a video or an article about how the 10,000 hours has been debunked by a Princeton scientist. I'm like, nigga, you can go on the internet and find why cigarettes are good for you.
Right.
You can find anything on the fucking internet. Don't believe no stupid shit. I'm putting into work because I know it's going to help me.
You should have countered that with the question, have you put 10,000 hours into something?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
Can you, not even that, do you have it documented that you put 10,000 hours into something?
Yeah.
And then after that, we can have a conversation about it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, I regardless of what it is, I just know at the end of the day, I'm working my ass off to get what I want.
Right.
Right? Like, I'm tired of talking about shit. Like, I'm at a certain age where I've had a lot of ideas in my head and, you know, wanted to do a lot of things in my life and, you know, things didn't come to fruition, but it's also because I didn't put my full effort into it. So now that I'm putting my full effort into it and people want to tell me, like, oh, you're not doing it right, or try to, like, deter me or, you know, tell me to steer me another way, nigga, I ain't listening to nothing.
Nah.
Period.
Nah.
You're not telling me that I'm not going to... And it's crazy because I never thought of it that way until I'm having the conversation right now, what that was. Right? Somebody trying to deter me and knock me off my square and, you know, direct me in another manner to do something different.
That's your standard.
Damn.
That's your lane. And that's
why am I getting that already?
That's where a lot of people fucking trip up at. Oh, shit. So a lot of people trip up and be like, oh, shit, man. Well, maybe I do have to be in that lane. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I do have to meet that standard. Nah. Figure out your fucking lane. Figure out what works for you. You know what I'm saying? Stop worrying about... And then that's where we start to decrease all this fucking entitlement. All this, oh, I deserve. Nah, you don't. Actually.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
What makes you different than the next?
You don't. Realize where you are, the space that you are in. Self-fucking awareness, bro.
Yeah. Biggie said people believe just like us. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't ever try to compete or compare myself or what I do to anybody else because I think it's foolish. I just know I want to work and I want to do the best that I can do with, the resources that I have.
Facts.
Right? And things that are available to me. So I'm going to continue to do that.
Right.
Regardless of what's going on. So that's basically the way I live my life. And, I can't expect anybody to do the exact same thing, but
all that I can ask for is understanding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, one thing I did. So last episode, I said something along the lines of basically like, if you're out or whatever it may be, because there's a lot of like, when we got into the colorism topic and just basically like self-hate in our community and stuff like that. And I was just basically saying, when you go out, buy a person a drink, whatever it may be. We went out last week. I bought a dude a drink. That sounds crazy, but I bought him a drink. I was like, it was in the moment. I was just there. I saw him and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Right? And then, I bought him a drink or whatever it may be.
You know what, not to cut you off, but I did. But the thing is, I want us to get to a point where we're not saying, oh, pause, or oh, I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
My nigga, I'm just showing you love.
Yeah.
I'm just showing you love.
Yeah.
That's it.
Basically, when I gave him the drink, I would, I try to preface it and, and say, hey, like, look, this is the reason I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And that, like, what you're saying makes sense. Like, I shouldn't have to explain myself. Like, if I'm at the bar or whatever it may be, I'm like, oh.
It's just love. That's
love.
it.
Right?
That's it.
You know what I'm saying? And do it that way. Because I don't want it to be weird or anything like that, but at the end of the day, it's not weird, but it's just also like, the things that we're just kind of programmed to kind of act as, in our community and the way that we do certain things.
The fucking things that are, sorry, I didn't have to curse. My mom's going to watch this one day and she's going to be like, you all curse so much. I'll be like, I got it from you. You know what I'm saying? She gave her life back to the Lord, and now she.
Yeah. But
shit, I'm your daughter. She what's up. Anyways, it's all about defying normalcy, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you Whitney on that, you know what I'm saying? Define the standards. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it.
Yeah.
I know my lane. You know who you are. I'm buying your drink.
Yeah.
It's love.
And
That's it.
And I think that's exactly what it is. Us becoming completely comfortable with who we are in our own skin on a day-to-day basis, and being able to operate in that and not be scared of any sort of not backlash, but sort of scared of any sort of critique. Right? It could be good critique, it could be bad critique, whatever it may be. Like, there's a lot of things that people may say about us on a day-to-day basis, but for us to accept that, you know what I mean, and understand where somebody may be coming from, and not completely take it, obviously, to heart.
And then walk in your own truth.
Yeah.
Walk in what you know to be true to you. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that it doesn't exist out there. Shout out to everyone who's already, living their truth and who was already out there, doing it and living it every day. Amplify on that. You know what I'm saying? Bring others into you.
Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you do get knocked off your square and you don't even know it, right? It's even by your own doing.
True.
Right? Sometimes you knocked off your own square, so sometimes somebody giving you critique like, yo, that don't even sound like you. Like, that don't even make sense. Like, and then you're like, oh shit, you're right.
Self-reflection.
You know what I mean?
Go back and think about it.
Yeah. Process that.
In my experience, you find I'm sitting here trying to compare myself to. In my experience, I've always found, if I had a moment of self-reflection, I've always found trying to compare myself to somebody else. I'm trying to do something that I feel like should be done at this level. I'm not living in me. You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving myself an opportunity to do it. You know what I'm saying? Experience it, learn from it, and then grow. Mm-hmm. So fuck anything else. That's how you have to do.
I want to talk about these things too, because I just had a conversation with a couple people at work about it. And honestly, more so with myself, I did do a lot of self-reflecting over the past couple nights on certain things, reached out to a few people regarding certain things that I've done in my life and the way that I've expressed myself in certain situations. And, not in a sense apologize, but basically explain where I was coming from, right? Because I don't see the need in apologizing anymore for anything, but just explaining where my headspace was.
I hope you understand.
Right, I hope you understand where I was coming from, exactly. And I've done that, and I really want to get into that, whether it be the next episode or some point in time. I think it's a really, really good conversation. I would love to bring somebody else in on that too. So that as well. Interested? Hit us up, right?
But you know what though?
But yeah,
we gonna wrap this conversation because the dude say hitting. I want to go party right now. It's what time is it?
I got some work to do.
He got work to do. I'm fine. I'm gonna go party. It's 5:30 something in LA. The sun is shining. The flowers that are blooming outside of the window right here, they making me want to dance. I feel away.
The flowers though? The flowers? The Duce got you. Shout out to Hov.
I feel away. I'm trying to party. You know what I'm saying? What's up? By the time you hear this, see this, I'm going to be at Clifton's, chilling.
By the time you see you hear this,
turning up.
You going to be in the bed hurt. That's what you going to be, goddamn.
Nah, bro. Nah, you know what I'm saying? You
going to be in the bed hurt.
This type of 30 ain't hitting like what they say it's hitting for. You know what I'm saying?
That's good. That's how I feel, man. I feel young. I feel fresh. Like, my mind is clear.
Yeah.
Like, I feel good, right? I ain't at 30 yet, but I'll be there soon. But I feel good.
That's how I feel like niggas been lying to me my whole life. This type of age ain't hitting like what they say it's gonna hit.
Yo, the 20s is shit. To go back to the...
They shit is fuck. Yo, you broke, you ain't got no... I mean...
To go back to the adulting conversation...
Right.
Yo, the 20s is shit, bro.
The 20s is bullshit.
When you get
Nobody
to 30,
respects you there.
On, bro. You on at 30.
You silk.
Yes.
That's the best. Ooh. God damn, you silk at 30.
Ooh, like silk.
You smooth, you flowy.
Yeah.
It's quality.
Yeah. Talk that shit.
I don't care what nobody else saying. You silk at 30.
Talk that shit.
Alright? Anyways, we gonna cut it. Before I give away too much sauce on this one, we gonna cut this shit off.
Once again, I do want to shout out as well, once again, to the winner of the Unsolicited Culture and Corner 103 Care Package. We want to shout out once again Tajay. It is at TAJEE_. So once again, shout out to you.
Appreciate that support, bro.
You have a package coming your way. We'll be reaching out to you in the DMs as well.
Yes.
To give you a little more information on that and when to expect everything.
Right. And as we do in every episode, we're gonna run this shit down. All right, off the Duce. We running it down off the Duce. Strippers.
Hello.
I support the naked hustle. You are an entrepreneur in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? And whether you stripping or you're thirst trapping, hopefully you're monetizing it, and it's a come up and it's a starting bag you're reaching into, and you have plans for longevity.
But whatever it is, starter bag full of money.
It's a starting bag for a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Don't let these motherfuckers fool you. They ain't always had it. Some of them, yeah, but not all. Anyways, whatever bag you're in, keep reaching in that bag, reaching higher. As long as you're aspiring to do something greater and you realize that it's not about you, you are a part of a bigger plan, I support that shit, right?
Yep, shout out.
Adulting. I think that a lot of you just need to get in your own lane. You need to figure out what makes you happy, what you're motivated by, what you're inspired by, what you're passionate about, and just stick to that. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Adulting can mean exactly what you want it to, right?
Yeah.
As long as you're satisfied in life and you're confident about where you are, stand on it, right?
Yeah.
And you deserve, what do you deserve? You deserve just as much as, I guess you don't really deserve shit. I don't know.
Real rap, that's how I feel. You don't deserve nothing.
Sorry.
You know what I mean? You get what you get. You can't make anybody,
Nah, you have to, and it takes a lot of self-reflection before you start to decide on what you deserve. So don't go out here with a head full of entitlement and just get it wrong. Just really think about what you deserve.
Yeah.
We don't deserve a whole lot of shit. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's the basics, like respect.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I just think
that might even just be it.
As mankind, we're too entitled. And I'll throw myself in that pool. We don't deserve a whole lot, but we can be thankful for a lot more. You know what I'm saying? So when you feel entitled, you're thinking about what you deserve. Take a moment to reflect and take a moment to be thankful for what you already have. Period. City girls. Period.
City girls. Period.
One more time for Juke City, for the city boy. You know what I'm saying? You got a real one right here. You got a real one from the
shout out Tampa.
863.
Shout out Florida.
Shout out Polk County. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna give you too much detail. We gonna wait for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Wilmington too, I guess.
Hey, you know how we do. Hey, shout out. What's your homeboy name that I'm putting on the playlist this month?
Shout out to Suku.
Oh.
Yeah.
Boy, I heard that track today. I was like,
Shout
we
Suku.
Definitely gonna have to slip this into the playlist somehow.
Shout out to Suku. Shout out to the whole AMH family.
Yeah.
That's Central Florida right there. We got another hot playlist coming up for y'all.
Yeah.
With every episode. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Just want to put y'all on to something real. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, just find something new that you may not have ever heard or whatever. Maybe that's what you want to get from me. For sure, D, you'll get some stuff that you'll never heard as well, but she'll also be able to bring you back, which I can do as well, which I'll have something coming soon.
Definitely gonna get a bunch of ratchet shit for me.
Yeah.
But then there's gonna be pockets of just like soulful, just like self-realization. You'll get it.
We got a bunch of music, so we don't have a bunch of music. There's a bunch of music that we enjoy.
Yeah.
So let us,
we have a bunch of music. I think for me, at least for me, a lot of the things that I listen to are a part of my makeup.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because music is just something that I've always been a part of. It's a part of me, and it kind of guides my life. So everything that I listen to is a part of my makeup.
Same here.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, shout out, just to everybody once again. Shout out to all the listeners, the followers, subscribers, commenters, whatever it may be. And once again, please continue to do so. This is episode 3 of the Unsolicited Culture Podcast.
Yes.
You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud.
Yes.
Also, please follow us on Instagram at Unsolicited Culture. That's it. One word, no underscores, no nothing. Spelled exactly how it should be. Unsolicited Culture. You can also find us once again on YouTube. Just /YouTube /Unsolicited Culture. You can find us.
There we go.
Check out all our stuff, bro. We got 3 episodes out right now. If you haven't seen any of them, if you're new to the podcast, check it out.
Episode 3, man.
Episode 3.
We have so much planned for you guys. We have so much in store for you guys. So stay tuned, bro.
Yeah, we're doing a lot. We're doing a lot. Like we don't have. It's not slowing down. That's basically the way I'm looking at it. It's not slowing down. So just keep following.
It's been another one, man.
All right.
From the Hype B Central.
Hype B Central.
It's another one.
Shout out to the homies.
Shout out to the homie. Yeah.
Homie on it. Shout out to the homie.
We out.
All right, we out. Peace.